Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is CJ. I'm gonna give you guys a quick review vid this time. We're gonna cover my reactor. I've been using this thing a little over a year and a half, so it's time to go ahead and give you my thoughts on it. Now it goes by a few different names. I purchased it as an Innovative Marine MiniMax all-in-one media reactor, but it also goes by the Aqua Gadget brand, I believe that's what it's called. But either way, if you buy either one, you're buying the same thing. Now these do come in two different sizes, the desktop and the mid-sized. What you're looking at here is the desktop, or the smaller of the two. I mean, it is fully adjustable. It has some good things, some bad things. We're gonna cover it this vid, and hopefully, anyone that's wondering about it or curious, this will help answer some questions for you. So let's jump right into the pros and cons. First thing I want to talk about is gonna be medias you can use for this thing. Now it is a mini reactor, and so most people getting this are gonna have nano tanks or, all-in-one tanks like me. So with that being in mind, most people use GFO or phosphate medias or something along those lines. This reactor, and to be perfectly honest with you, would not recommend anything that you have to have very specific adjustments. For example, GFO, most people say you gotta use it to a slight tumble. Getting this thing tuned in to where it tumbles slightly, it's doable after a lot of pain, but that's not where the problem comes in. The problem comes in with the sponges. There's 4 sponges that are supplied with this thing, and it's intended to put 2 on the bottom to catch detritus before it clogs your media, and then 2 on the top to catch any media from, coming out of the reactor. The problem is it clogs way too fast. So for any sensitive medias like GFO, if you kind of, got to control the flow rate, it's so finicky that I wouldn't recommend it. So that's, fault number 1, stay away from GFO with this thing or any media like GFO. So what medias will work with this reactor? That's the question we want to know, right? Basically, any high flow requiring medias. So I would say biopellets, definitely you're in. You're good to go with biopellets. Even your high flow medias that, should not tumble. For example, phosguard, which is what I've been using for the last year and a half until recently. Basically, it's a high flow media, at least that's what's recommended for it, but it's not recommended to let the stuff tumble. So it's all good for the most part, but keep in mind, the recommended amount for my tank is only 1/3 of a cup. Even though I got the smallest reactor, it still only fills it halfway. So basically, pack it down in there, put the 2 sponges on top, and I got a gap, maybe, 3 or 4 inches along the top to where water is just free to flow. After a while, if things get clogged, things get moving too much, and those sponges raise and, allow the phosguard to tumble. So, there definitely is a pain. You can do some DIY stuff to kind of work around it, maybe fill it with extra sponges or extra media on top of it, whatever the case may be, but it is just something, food for thought. For anyone that is thinking about buying a reactor, gotta put this out there. Get away from the frame of mind that, hey, I'm gonna get the biggest reactor I can get for my system and just roll with it. Don't do that. What I would say is buy a reactor just big enough for the recommended amount of media you're trying to use for your system. So you're using biopellets, get a reactor that's just gonna hold just enough biopellets for your tank. You're gonna find that you're gonna save a lot of money and not, waste a lot of reactor space that you're not gonna use anyways. What's the point, right? So let's kind of throw it out there, quick food for thought for anyone that is in the market for reactors. It's just something I've learned from using this one this long. So choosing the right media is very important. You get the right type of media, it's gonna do a good job for you. Now the only other issue I've had is really becomes the maintenance. If you didn't watch already, it's hell getting those sponges out, especially along the bottom, because the bottom's not removable. If that is the only thing they can change, or only thing I can change on this reactor, that will be it. The same gasket seal they use on the top that you can remove to get the media out. I wish they had the same on the bottom. It'll make life a lot easier because if the sponges clog up, you basically have to take out all the media just to unclog it, and then you got a decision to either put the old media back in or add new media. So removing the gasket on the bottom, if that was allowed or a possibility, I would definitely love this reactor a lot more. So keep it in mind for anyone thinking about getting this. If you don't have long fingers, get some kind of tool, have some kind of plan to get those sponges out along the bottom of the reactor. So what's my final thoughts on this reactor? Well, to be perfectly honest, over a year and a half worth of use, has it worked for me? Yeah, I can't lie to you. I mean, it's done the job. It does have some maintenance glitches and, some limitations as far as what medias would, be able to run in it. But overall, it's a reactor, has a pretty strong motor on it. I mean, it mounts to your tank. It's really sturdy, does a good job. Now, unfortunately, when I was doing this review, either I just broke this or just noticed it, but the portion of the screw that actually clamps on broke off my damn reactor. So, way to go for a vid, right? But in a nutshell, if I was to rate this thing with it being my first reactor ever used, I would give it a 5.5 out of 10, I would say, only because of the maintenance being such a pain in the ass and the sponge is clogging so fast that it limits the medias you can use. So if you can use GFO with this without any question or any concern, I would definitely rate it higher. So with that being said, should you buy this thing? It is roughly $100. Is there better options out there? Maybe so. Am I using it right now? No, honestly, I'm not. I'm not using phosguard on my system. So, just to keep, money from getting wasted, I may run carbon in this reactor. But for now, this is empty and just, on standby in my tank. So in a nutshell, that's going to wrap up this review. Hopefully it helped someone or answer any questions you had. And as always, definitely like, comment, subscribe. You guys can do what y'all do. Y'all be easy. Happy reef, and I'll catch y'all next update.